So in this video, I'm going to talk about lead scoring and what it is, why you should care about it, and why you'd want to use it. What are the things that you need to think about when you're thinking about lead scoring? So first of all, I want to say this is a introductory video. So there's going to be a lot of concepts that I'm going to be butchering. So if you're like a seasoned marketer or you understand this stuff, this is not the video for you. The goal of this video is really just to get a foundation and give an entry-level person some understanding of why this is actually important if you've never really heard the term or you're familiar with it, but you want a better understanding of that particular system. So first of all, what is lead scoring? Why do you want to use it? What is the purpose of it? So in its basic format, lead scoring allows you to rank a lead in a way that you can make a decision on whether you should try to close them or they could be a potential buyer. It's a way of just moving the most important leads to the top of the list so that you could take your energy, your hard-earned energy, and focus on those leads. So now that you got that out of the way, let's just dive a little bit deeper so you can understand some of the core concepts. So let's say that you have one lead. We're not going to talk about 100. We're going to focus on one lead. And you want to sell mechanical services to business owners. Okay. So you're a mechanic, but you're a high-end mechanic and you sell to business owners, high earning individuals, and you do personalized service. In other words, you show up to their house or their office and you service their car in every single way possible. Let's pretend that's your client and that's where you're selling to. If you're doing outreach, and by outreach I mean sending out an email, picking up the phone and dialing a number, and maybe walking into a business, there's a few things that needs to happen for that business owner to buy from you. That's what we're going to talk about. So the first thing that a business owner needs to do, let's pretend that this is a business owner and you are trying to target this business owner. The first thing that the business owner needs to do is they need to know who you are. Okay. This is very important. It seems like such a basic thing, but it's really important for you to understand. If a company does not know who you are, if somebody does not know who you are, they cannot buy from you. So the first thing that they need to do is know that you exist. In other words, you can't operate a business from your basement and not communicate or reach out to individuals in order to talk about your products and explain what is it that you do so that they could potentially buy from you. So the first thing that they need to do is know who you are. Let's pretend that they know you because you either walked into their office or you sent an email to them and they looked at the email and they liked it. And so therefore they have some idea about your business. Maybe they went to your website and they checked it out. After that, the second thing that they need to be able to do is they need to like you. People buy from people that they like. People buy from businesses that they like. It's just how the world works. I didn't make the rules. I'm just basically just sharing them with you. So if I like you, I'll buy from you. If I don't like you, I won't buy from you. That's the general consensus. So you need to get that person to move from knowing you to liking you. They have to like you in order to buy from you. They like what you provide. They like your service. They like your logo. They like your branding. They like the way that you talk, right? They just have to like you. Now, after they like you, the next thing that they need to be able to do is they need to be able to trust you. Why trust? I might know you. I might like you, but I don't trust you. I like this guy, I like this girl, I like their character, their personality, but something off about them. I don't really trust them that much, right? So these are the steps that the business owner needs to go through from a mindset perspective in order to ensure that they're going to buy your product. Okay. They have to trust you in some shape or form. And once they trust you, only then your offer will make sense to them because they now know you. They like you enough. They have some trust, and trust is like a vague word. It's like a high level term to mean that, you know what? Yes, this person is not going to just take my money and run away with it. right? And then you can present an offer to them. When you present that offer in the form of a presentation, a proposal, whatever it is, then they may or may not buy from you. But the point is, these are all the steps that we need to go through in order to make an actual sale. These steps are always happening all the time in every single market. Okay. So take, for example, you went into a random store because you needed jeans. The mere fact that you went into that store, you're going through this process. How did you know about the store? Maybe you saw an ad for the store. Maybe you just think that this store is a popular store. You heard it on the radio, right? There's something in your brain that checked off to say, yes, I know this place and they sell jeans, and therefore I will go to this particular location for jeans. When you get there, there's something about the store that you like. There's some sort of the environment, the people, the way how they treat you, whatever it is, you like something about that environment. And then you trust that the pants or whatever it is that you're buying is of some sort of quality, that it's not cheap, it's not crappy, it's not going to fall apart on you in the middle of your meeting or whatever, right? Those are the steps that you're going through. And then the offer in this particular case is the price, right? It's on the shelf. You look at it. I don't like that offer. It's too expensive. Okay. You go to the next aisle, you check another pants. Okay. I like that offer. I still trust that it's a good quality pants, right? So these steps, we're always doing it all the time. So it's very important that you understand that concept, because if you don't understand that concept, then it becomes a little bit harder for you to understand how you need to engage with your customers or potential customers as they go through this journey. This journey that I'm describing here is what we call the buyer's journey. Okay. So now that you have a clear understanding of the buyer's journey, let's move on a little bit more. So the thing that you need to understand is that this is not enough for you to make sales. This is just understanding the perspective of the customer. That's very important, right? You're understanding the journey that they're going through in order to make that sale. So with that buyer's journey, you could break that journey into two categories for now: marketing qualified, sales qualified. So these are the two rough categories. Any single thing before that, we don't really care about so much. This is a different kind of category, and there's obviously stuff after this, but these are the core phases of a buyer from your perspective, aka the mechanic that is selling your service. You need to understand who are the people that are marketing qualified. In other words, they fit a criteria that are high earners, business owners that are looking for mechanical services. And of those people, who are people that actually I can sell to because they actually are in the market to buy my services, sales qualified. Okay. So in order for us to figure this out, what we need to really do is we need to segment the person or dissect the person into categories to really understand who that person is that we're selling to. So again, going with the business owner that is a high net worth individual that's going to use your mechanical services in this particular case. We're looking for, let's use a number. We're looking for a business owner that has a business that is making 10 million or more in revenue. The reason why we use the number 10 million is because we know that if you're making 10 million, the business owner, chances are, is making some kind of money, I would say. And if that's the case, probably don't have the time to take his car to the mechanic shop. So with that in mind, we could say that any business owner that's making a certain amount is qualified to potentially buy your product. And then from there, we want to dive further into the actual business owner to say this particular business owner that cares about his car would buy my service. You want to really narrow it down. So that's where the second part of this conversation comes in, the firmographic, right? The concept of identifying the types of companies that could potentially use your services. In this particular case, I have manufacturing companies that have between 300 to 500 employees and are located in Texas. The definition of a firmographic is essentially all of the attributes of that company that makes up that company. So I know that if I have a CEO of a 300 to 500 employee company, they're probably a high net worth individual and they probably don't have time to fix their car. So therefore, my service might be of value to them. And so they might be a potential, right? This is just one layer in that process. And then the second layer altogether is that of that high net worth individual, maybe it's only males that cares about a car. I'm not saying that females don't care about cars. I just want to be clear, just giving this as an example, that male ego, whatever person cares about his car and wants it to be in tip-top shape and therefore values the service of a high-end mechanical person coming to their house and coming to his house or office and fixing this car and just ensure it's in tip-top shape. Okay. With that in mind, you could start to come up with some sort of idea of who it is that you're actually selling to. And that's what's important here. It's really drilling down to specifics about who is important. Once you understand that, the goal of our system is essentially to start adding scores to it. Okay. So I won't go into all the details on how the scoring work, but the point is that if they know you and we've recognized that they know you, we'll give them 10 points as an example. Okay. If they like you, we'll give them another 10 points. If they trust you, we'll give them another 10 points. Let's say that they fit this criteria that we were talking about here, which is they're a company that's in Texas that have 3 to 5 employees, we'll give them another 10 points. And let's say that they're a male, right, that is the owner of a company and they also live in Texas or whatever, and they're between the ages of 45 and 55. Okay, so these are the scores that we assign to the attributes in order to figure out whether this person fits our criteria. As an example of somebody that might not qualify, you might have somebody, an owner of a business that is this particular firmographic, okay, that is, let's say, 90 years of age. They don't really care about car that much, and they just want to get around in a, I don't know, Toyota Corolla because they just don't care about cars. So if that's the case, then we say, you know what, this person does not qualify, even though their firm qualifies, the person doesn't qualify, you give them a negative score, as an example. Okay, so that's the goal of the lead scoring system. The difference is that you're not manually doing the scoring. You would basically tell us the ICP. So what I just described to you is the ICP. This is the buyer's journey, but really what I've described to you here is the ICP, ideal customer profile. And that ICP allows you to figure out the ranking of each individual, to figure out which are the people that you need to focus on from a sales standpoint. And only those people you're going to put your energy in to make cold calls to and try to get your offer to them, which hopefully will turn into a sale. So with that, hopefully you learned something in this video. And if you have, let me know, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one. Bye.